Yo, what's going on, YouTube squad? Welcome back to another video. We're back at it again. This is Jacob Tucker, and in this video, we're going to be talking about how to connect a Blocto or how to integrate Blocto Wallet into your application. So in this video, I'm going to be using React, although this is the same exact process with Svelte or Next.js or literally anything. But I figured most people probably use React, so hey, here we are. So all I've done so far is I've just npx, create React app, new React app, whatever. And so this is just a bare bones React application. I've removed some of like extra things that you don't have to if you don't want. But I want to mention one thing. So in this video, we're going to be using FCL, which is the Flow client library, to interact with the Flow blockchain. In order for you to be able to do this with React, you have to make sure that your React scripts is not like 5.0.0. In newer updates of React, for some reason, this happened in like the past 2 months, the new React script version broke FCL. So if you just npx create React app or whatever application you're using, make sure that your React scripts, I use 4.0.2, that works, but you'll get an error if your React scripts is like the new one. So I just wanted to point that out there. There's probably some other fix, but that's what I figured out. So just want to point that out. Okay. So you can see here, I just have like a very basic, thing. If I even just npm start this project, it'll load it up on our web page here. It's just like a blank application, so there's nothing going on, right? Cool. So let's go ahead and dive into this video. So why don't I actually just cd into documents, YouTube, Blocto setup. Okay, cool. Let's clear this. And so in order to get started, what we're going to want to do is npm install two things. The first thing is going to be @onflow/fcl, and the second thing is going to be @onflow/types. So I try to make the font really big. Maybe it's easier if you see it like this, right? So @onflow/fcl and @onflow/types. You're going to press enter on that, and that's going to install the two things we're going to need to have installed for this project. And so what these are is FCL is going to allow us, so if you just simply want to connect to Blocto, you only need FCL, but onflow types is going to allow us to run some basic scripts and transactions that I'm going to show you how to do with the logged in Blocto account. So let's go ahead and import these things. So let's import all as FCL from @onflow/fcl, and then I also do import all as T from @onflow/types. Perfect. So we have these two things installed. Now let's just go ahead and put like a h1 tag here that's just like, hello idiot. And we'll launch our web page and just hopefully we should see hello idiot. So perfect. You're all stupid. All right, so let's keep going. Now what we want to do is before we even log the person in, we want to store the logged in person inside of some sort of variable, right? Because we want to be able to access information about them. So let's go ahead and actually make a new variable called user, and I'm going to use like the use state syntax. So use state, just like that. And so we're actually going to store our user in here. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Now, one other thing we're going to want to do is actually, you know what? Let's keep it there for now. Okay. So let's delete hello idiot, and let's make a new button. And this is going to be called connect wallet. Now, inside this button, we're going to have an on-click handler so that when they click this button, something's going to happen. And what's going to happen is we're going to run a function that literally just does fcl.authenticate. That's all it does. So fcl.authenticate is pretty much all you need to have the Blocto prompt come up and have the user sign in. The only issue here is that before we actually authenticate, we have to tell FCL where to look. It doesn't know if it's looking at testnet, it doesn't know if it's looking at mainnet. Heck, it doesn't even know if it's looking at the Flow blockchain. It could just be in outer space, right? So in order to do that, we're gonna have to say fcl.config. And for the record, I forget all this all the time. So if I mess up, don't flame me. But we need two things here. So the first thing is we're gonna need to tell FCL to look at either testnet or mainnet. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So the first thing is you access node.api and you tell it where to look. So this is going to be, it's pretty much a link, https :// I never know if that's / or /, who knows, honestly. And then we're going to point to testnet. So testnet.onflow.org. I think that's what it is off the top of my head. And then the second thing we're gonna need to do is tell it like what Blocto URL to look at. So for this one, we do discovery.wallet, and this is basically telling like what wallet we want to look at. So of course we want to look at Blocto, right? So I actually have this up my other screen, but we're gonna say https://flow-wallet-testnet.blocto.app/authn. Okay, cool. Now hopefully this is right. I mean, who knows? If it's not right, I'll just fix it. I'll cut the video, whatever. Okay, cool. So now we've told FCL to look at testnet and then to look at you know, the Blocto wallet that's also on testnet, right? So we have to make sure we put the testnet here. Okay, and then FCL is going to say FCL.authenticate. So boom, all right, we're good to go. So let's launch our web page here. Oh, and by the way, we haven't yet connected the user, right? I just put that there for now, but we haven't connected the user yet. So let's go ahead and connect our wallet. Let me actually load up the console in case anything goes wrong, because it's bound to go wrong. So let's connect wallet. Okay, oops, it's starting to go wrong. All right, let's refresh the page. Connect wallet, and boom, yay! So it loaded up the prompt. So literally all we had to do was FCL.authenticate, and now it's coming up on the page, right? So sweet. So it's coming up. Now what you're gonna see, you'll probably see like an email. Like if you've never logged in through Blocto before, it'll say like enter your email. That I've already logged in, so I've already gone through the whole process. But it's cool that Blocto remembers your account. Like if you're on like Google Chrome or whatever, it remembers your account if you already logged in on like a different site. But you might see the email prompt, but you get the point, right? We just wanted to connect to Blocto. So I'm already sort of logged in. Now if I click confirm, now it's like, well, now what, right? Like, where's the user? We logged in, but like, is the user actually logged in? And I'm pretty sure if we even refresh the page, okay, yeah. So now when I go to click it, nothing's happening. And that's because we're already logged in. We just don't know we are. So let's go ahead and up here, we're gonna say H1. And we in here, we wanna put like the user's address, right? We wanna put the user's address. But right now we don't have access to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a use effect thingy here. And this use effect thingy is basically going to run when the page refreshes. So that's why I put these little brackets here. And we're going to say, how do I do this? Oh God, I think it's fcl.currentuser.subscribe. And then we pass in the set user. So we pass in set user right here. Now this is going to say every time the page refreshes, make sure that we like make sure the current user is equal to, and then you set this user so that the user variable now contains the actual logged in user information. So I think this should work. I hope. Okay. And then what you do is inside of the user's address here, you would put user.addr. So addr is the user's address. So maybe if this works, I don't know. Okay, so I think the reason it's giving us this problem is because I have to put this here. I think that, yeah. Okay, so the reason for this is because user.addr initially is going to be null, but when it does this, when it actually connects the user, then it won't be null. And so you have to add this little like question mark here, which basically says like, you know, it's the same thing as doing like, you know, user, if it's not nil, then display user.address, otherwise display like nothing. This is a shorter way, you know, user.addr is a shorter way of doing that, right? So to say like, hey, if user's null, then don't do .addr, but if it's not null, do .addr, but if it is nil, don't do that, right? So we don't get a problem. Okay, so now you'll see on the web page, it shows the address, which is super sweet, right? So it shows the logged in user's address. Cool. Now we should also probably add a button for disconnecting. So let me copy this and say disconnect wallet. And it's really simple. You literally just do fcl.unauthenticate. And now if we go back to our web page, you know, it's not going to look the best. I'm not a styling god, okay? I'm the flow god. But if we refresh the page here and click on disconnect wallet, it goes away. And now we can actually click connect wallet again. So boom, we can confirm, and here we are. So this actually pissing me off. Let me actually go ahead and just say like there's a margin of 10 pixels here. Cool. Yeah, I just had to do that. Okay, cool. So now we're logged in, we have the user's address, and that is logging in with Blocto. So if that was why you came to this video, we're done, we connected with Blocto. But what I want to show you as well is how to run like a script and a transaction on testnet. And also I'm going to show you on mainnet as well. So let's go ahead and let's add another button here. So let's go ahead and another button that says, okay, so what I did for this video, just for the record, is let me actually look this up. So I have this little address here. on Flow TestNet. So before this video started, I actually deployed this dummy contract called Simple Test, and all it has is a number and a update number function. So we're just going to read this from testnet just as an example. So let's go ahead and read the number. Now I already made a script to do that. You'll see I import simple test, I read the number. So this is like cadence code, but we have to wrap it in JavaScript. And so we have to like wrap it in like a string. So this is the script to do that, right? That's all I did beforehand. Now I'm actually going to show you how to run a script with the user that's logged in through Blocto. So let's go ahead and say read number. Okay, and on click, we're going to call like the read number function that we obviously haven't defined yet. So let's go ahead and say const read number equals async, like that. And then we're going to open up a new function. So what we can do is say const result equals await fcl.send, just like this, in the parentheses and brackets, then fcl.script, and we're going to do this script code. So the reason we have to wrap this cadence code in JavaScript is because we pass it as a string to fcl.script here. So we called it read number script. So read number script, and hopefully it auto imports it. Boom, love that. So we have to pass it in as a string here. And then we can say like, fcl.args, but in this case, I don't think there are any args, right? So there's no arguments, so we don't have to pass in any arguments, and that should be pretty much it. Then we say .then, so once we actually get the response, fcl.decode it, and that way we can read it. So let's console.log the result. Let's console.log the result. All right, cool. So hopefully all goes well. Just pray. Read number 0. Oh my god, no way that just worked. Nothing ever works on the first try, but that is so hype. Okay, so no way, that's so exciting. So on the flow view source, we read the number. You see I initialized it to 0, so boom, it was 0. So boom, that's a script of running on testnet. Yes. Okay, I'm so happy that worked. Now, let's go ahead and do an example of running a transaction. So let me just I'll do it from scratch. So the next one that I have is a transaction that's called import simple test from the address, and then it just calls simple test.update number with a new number. Right, so the new number is, this right here, the update number function. This is what we're calling. So it just sets the number to a new number. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a new button. Let's go make a new button that just says update number, and we'll make this update number. Cool. So let's go ahead and say const update number equals async, like that. Const. And then what we're going to get back actually is the transaction ID. So I'll show you what we can do with that. Await fcl.send. And this time it's an fcl.transaction. And we pass in the transaction code as a string. So we can just get update number. I should call this update number transaction just so that it's not the same name. So update, please. Yes, update number transaction. I did auto import it. God, I love life. And then we can say, so this gets a little more complicated, and I'll show you why. So fcl.arguments is an array, and the arguments, we need to pass in the new number here. So we need to pass in the new number. So let's just go ahead and say fcl.arg. Let's just hard code it. So let's just say we want the number to be 10. You could pass this in as a variable, but you get the point. And this is a t.int. So this is why we needed t, because t, the types, onFlow types, allows us to basically say what type this is. And if we look at our transaction, you'll see it's an integer. So we say t.int. If it was a string, if it was like an address, we would say t.address. If it was a string, we would say t.string. If it was I'm just listing them all in case you're like watching this video for help. So t.uint64. There's oh, my mouse is over, I'm realizing. t.ufix64. If it's an array, it's t.array of t.strings. Like, you get the point, right? So I'm just trying to list all the options just to help you out. But t.int is what we want, okay? Then you have to list 3 other things. So fcl.payer, who's the payer of this transaction? And this is when it's helpful to know who the current user is. Because we want the payer, proposer, and authorizer to be the person that's logged in through the Blocto account. So the person that's running this transaction is going to be the person that's obviously logged in on your front end. So we want them to pay for the transaction. I guess I should step back and explain the transaction. So transactions on Flow have 3 roles: the payer, who pays for the transaction, like the gas fees, all that; the proposer, the one that's like initiating it; and the authorizer. And the authorizers are the people that get put in the auth account. So this is like in the prepare phase, and we can access data on their account. So these three roles could be different people. Someone could be paying it, another person could be initiating it with the proposer, and another person could be accessing their auth account. But we're gonna put the same person for all three. And the way you access that is you say fcl.auths with a Z here, and that says the current user that's logged in through Blocto is the payer. So same thing for the proposer is fcl.auths, and the same thing for an authorizer. So fcl.authorizations, you can pass in an array, and in our case, it's just fcl.auths. So in other videos, I would go over really in depth on like how to do multiple authorizers, how to differentiate the proposer, what this even is, which hint, it's an authorization function. I have a whole video on all this kind of stuff, but we'll leave that for another time. And you can go and watch those videos if you want, like what this even means and all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing we have to put here is the gas limit. So just to make sure, it won't really matter, but if we can just put a gas limit of like 99999, or I just put 999 because that's just like saying like, hey, if this transaction is a lot, like it's fine. Of course, our transaction is like literally just one line of code, so that's never gonna really impact us anyway. Then we would say .then fcl.decode, and we can console.log our transaction ID like that. Okay, so let's see if this even works. Who knows? Let's go ahead and refresh the page, and let's update the number. And hopefully, if all goes well, yes. So it loads up with a little Blocto prompt here, and you can even see like the transaction code. So it says the arguments is 10, right, which is the new number. It shows us the transaction code, which is sweet, and then we can click approve. So if we click approve, that means that us who are signed in right now, we're gonna authorize this transaction. And all that. So you'll see that it console.logged the transaction ID here. So we can copy this and go to testnet.flowscan.org, and we can copy the transaction ID into here and click explore. And look, it shows us all the details about the transaction. So it's a success, thank God. These are the proposer, payer, and authorizer. Now, let me make something clear. You may be wondering, why is the proposer and payer different than the authorizer? I thought we put fcl.auths for all three. We did. However, on testnet, Blocto actually subsidizes the cost for all the transactions. So these two addresses are actually like Blocto's address on a back end somewhere, just authorizing it for us. But you'll notice that our authorizer is actually us. So 6Z0D, right? 6Z0D. So that's actually us, right? Which is pretty cool. So that means that we authorized it. Which we did, right? So if we read the number again, you should see now it says 10, right? Yes! I love when stuff works in the first try. Cool. So that's the new number. Awesome. Now, I just want to show you one example on MainNet because this is all on testnet. So let's actually go ahead and let me show you a MainNet example. So if we want to configure everything to MainNet, what we have to do now, I think, is change this to MainNet and then get rid of this testnet here. So just get rid of that. I think this is what you do. So change this to MainNet and then make this, you know what? Like, why don't I actually do this? Because I'm going to publish the source code somewhere. Let me actually just copy and paste these two lines and just comment these lines out so you can really see what's going on. We'll change this to MainNet and we'll just get rid of testnet like that. Okay, so hopefully if we refresh the page now, okay, so let me disconnect first of all. Let's refresh the page. So if I click connect wallet, it should, yes. So look, now we're on MainNet. So look, there's no like testnet symbol here, right? It like, let me go back and show you. So let's actually comment these two out and let's put the testnet ones back in. So you can actually always tell which network you're on because if I click connect wallet here, you'll see it comes up sign in with Blocto Wallet testnet, right? But if I change it back, let's refresh the page again. It says connect wallet and there's no testnet here. So we're on MainNet now. And even look, even my address is different. So if I click confirm here, right? Now we're on like MainNet. This is a totally new address, right? So if you want to give me a bunch of Flow token, you know where to deposit it to. So just a little hint here. I'm broke. You can send me Flow token if you want. I don't know who said that. Okay. So yeah, so that's that, right? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and actually run a script on MainNet. So what I did was I actually added another script here called read flow token total supply. And this actually reads the total supply of Flow token on MainNet right now. So this is the address for Flow token right here. This is the script. It's really simple. Just reads Flow token at total supply. And this is the MainNet address of Flow token. So let's actually go ahead and run this script. So let me just basically copy, because it's going to be the same thing. Let's copy the read number function. I'm going to minimize these two right now. And let's just make a new function called read Flow token total supply. And let's change this to read total supply script so that we can just differentiate it. Okay, cool. Now let's change this to read flow token total supply script. There's no arguments, STL to decode, and console.log the result. All right, and let's just copy the read number function and say read flow token. And let's just change it to read flow token total supply. Now, if we go to our front end now, let's refresh the page, read flow token, and there's a problem. So what? Oh, so got you fixed 64. Wait, expected got you. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, that's right, because it's supposed to be a uFix. Sorry, this is supposed to be a uFix 64, not a uint. Yeah, that should be the problem. Okay, so I refresh the page again. Read flow token. Yay! So now we get the total supply of flow token on mainnet. So that's it. That's pretty much it. You'll notice that Blocto Wallet is so much easier than like any other wallet. It's so simple, as I just showed you. And again, like I'm not gonna run a transaction on mainnet because I'm not trying to screw with my account. But you get the point, right? Like you would just do the same exact thing, which is, by the way, what I love about this is that mainnet and testnet, it's literally the same thing. You just change these two things right here. So super simple. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you. So other things you can do with .put here. If there's sometimes a case where it's really annoying to keep track of addresses like this. For example, you'll see that I have import simple test from this address and then import simple test from address. What we can do is make this a lot simpler. So let's actually copy and paste this address. And let's go back to testnet for a second. So let's go back to testnet and let's say .put. Let's just say OX simple test. And then let's put the address here. What this allows us to do is it says, okay, anywhere there's this syntax inside your script of transactions, it'll change it to this automatically. So in our transaction now, we can change this to OX simple test and do the same thing over here. So OX simple test. And now if I go back to the page again, let's disconnect the wallet, let's reload back in, confirm, you'll see that it still works, right? So read number, it still works, it's 10, but we don't have to we don't have to put those addresses every time. So that's just a helpful tool if you want it. So yeah, that's all I can think of right now. This is I just wanted to do a very basic how to set up Blocto Wallet and send some transaction scripts. Yeah, that's it. Wow, I've been talking for 22 minutes. How was that 22 minutes? How was that 22 minutes? Okay, anyway. Done. Check out the rest of the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Comment, like. Dab.